And we're live.
And we're live.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Tucker and the Beard back again with another movie review. We went and saw Glass. This week's movie was Glass, and what a movie it was.
It was. Since we had decided on this last week, I will full-blown acknowledge the fact I had not seen Split yet, and I had not seen Unbreakable since 2000.
When it came out?
When it came out,
So 2000?
2000.
Yeah.
Can't correct me when I'm correct.
When you're correct. Correcting your correctness.
I was like, come on. But I hadn't seen it in quite some time. So I had a M. Night Shyamalan marathon weekend.
You went to town over the last few days.
Yeah.
And, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I hope they appreciate it.
Yeah. It was a lot of unbreakable time.
Listen, any time spent watching a film with Bruce Willis in it is not wasted.
I can probably name about 5
movies
right now.
Other than after, the first 2 Die Hard movies.
Yeah, I was like,
Die Hard's through 19, not great.
I was like, listen,
Did I see all of them? Yes.
I'm a Bruce Willis fan, but you cannot say any movie with Bruce Willis is time well spent. Because then there's Heart's War or...
Fair enough.
Yeah, numerous other movies. But I would like to meet him just for the fact I believe that at one time he had a number method to his acting.
Continue.
All right. So we have like Die Hard, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could use those.
Through
ones.
19.
He was in like 4 Rooms, Fifth Element, Sixth Sense.
Where'd it
think
go
it was-
after that, though?
No, there was a 7 one. I can't remember what it was.
It wasn't in 7.
There was a 7 and an 8 in there somewhere. I can't remember, but it was like whole 9 yards, whole 10 yards.
Oh, that's true. 9 and 10 yards. I forgot about those two.
Yeah, there isn't a. Oh, he was in. Was it Ocean's 11 or Ocean's 12? He was in, but 12 Monkeys. He's
I
in,
do
like,
know that.
17 Blocks. He's just number.
Okay,
Like
so he likes number movies.
He likes number movies, and I don't know if anybody else besides my weird thinking has like pinpointed it and been like, "Hey, Bruce."
Hey, what's up, man? So back to the task at hand.
Yes.
I'm going to start here
Yes. Let's
I'm gonna
just
start-
know what it is.
with the movie critics, because we've mentioned this in the past, and I think we're staying true to our principles here. We are not real movie critics. We are real movie fans.
Shut your mouth.
No, we're movie fans.
Yes.
We are fans of cinema of all types. And
We are
the
cinephiles.
critics freaking got it wrong.
They tend
It's
to
sitting
do
at
that,
36%. Sometimes they're right. But the critics have this one at 36%
though, on Rotten Tomatoes.
on Rotten Tomatoes with an audience score of 76%.
Okay.
I think it deserves better on both sides.
I could see it going, more on both, but I can understand some of the fans and what they're thinking. But we'll get to that, and let's kind of describe what Glass is for a minute.
It's a sequel that almost didn't happen.
Right. It was a
It couldn't. It completely could have not happened,
right.
and Split would have still stood just fine on its own
Right.
as a fantastic thriller.
Right. Just alone without tying it to
Unbreakable.
right, which was the first one of it, and kind of backstory. Unbreakable stars Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson as in the main roles, and it is a dark, realistic superhero movie.
Yeah, it's a comic book adjacent film.
Right. It addresses that comic books are ancient, historical kind of how they kind of got
Yeah.
start was from reality, and that there are those amongst us that
Yeah, there
have
are.
superhuman abilities, and Bruce Willis his character
He-
ends
he-
up having that, surviving
Yeah.
a train wreck.
Yeah, and as much as I want to spoil this movie because I thoroughly enjoyed everything about it, I won't. But this again, it could have stood split, could have stood alone.
Right.
But I'm so glad that it didn't.
Right. Well, and for the spoilers in this one. So, yeah, Unbreakable is essentially the origin story of Bruce Willis's character, not knowing he has superpowers, surviving being the sole survivor of a train crash.
Where literally everyone else died.
Right. And then it's Samuel L. Jackson's character, who's a comic book aficionado. You like how he's that word?
He's a deep study. He plays Elijah Price,
Yeah.
a man whose bones are extremely brittle.
Which is a true
It's a
medical
real thing.
thing, and tells Bruce Willis that he believes that he has superhuman abilities, which through the progression of that movie,
They kind of
it's
put
true.
it to the test. Yeah.
Yeah, he is right, and I guess we can't not spoil.
Yeah. So
The
we're
first two movies.
obviously, if you haven't seen Unbreakable, it was made 19 years ago, and I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, don't go see this movie if you haven't seen.
Unbreakable, because it
Split.
won't make any sense at all.
Yeah,
And don't go see this if you haven't seen Split, because again, it won't make any sense at all. Which is why he had to spend the entire weekend watching M. Night
these movies.
Shyamalan movies.
yes. So yeah, it
And-
reveals in the end of Unbreakable that Bruce Willis does have superhuman abilities. That
Mm-hmm.
he's unbreakable. He's invincible. Well, I don't want to say invincible, but
But he's pretty dope.
yeah, has superhuman strength, and when he touches somebody, he can see
He can
their
see if they've done bad things.
right. And it's revealed at the end of Unbreakable that Samuel L. Jackson's character Elijah Price was the supervillain the whole entire time.
Dun,
And
dun, dun. In
is
typical M. Night Shyamalan fashion, of course, there has to be a twist at the end of the movie somehow.
this one, and he was responsible for the train.
He was
Wreck
actually,
and-
he orchestrated, because he's the evil genius. So he orchestrated the train wreck.
And hundreds of others.
Of other events, trying to find these extraordinary humans.
Waiting for that one. So, killed thousands and thousands of people in the process. So the end of that
Basically,
is,
just not a good dude
yeah.
at the end of the day.
Samuel L. Jackson, and his name is Mr. Glass.
Mister. First name, Mister. Last name, Glass.
So he gets locked away at the end of that movie, and Bruce Willis kind of goes on with his superhuman things. Period. That's the last thing that you know.
Fast forward 15 years.
15?
I'm pretty sure. It's a lot of years. It may be more than 15.
I was going to say, if it's been 19 years, then it's been like 17. Maybe. I'm going to say 17.
2016 is when Split came out, so 16 years.
All right.
It was
See?
close.
There you go. Is a new movie by M. Night Shyamalan about a
A man with
24.
24 separate, and Zach Morris timeout.
Don't you stealing my thing, man?
I have to give a healthy shout out to the people who wrote the credit reel for these movies.
Amazing.
Because they credit James McAvoy with every
24
single
characters.
personality
Yeah.
that he portrays on film.
Which is justly
So-
deserved. Justly deserved.
If you're out there, this high five's for you. I thought that was it was amazing. James McAvoy, I already liked him.
Mm-hmm.
He played a pretty solid Professor Xavier.
Oh, very much so. I've been, I haven't seen all of his work, but the work that
Seen
I
a
have
fair few
seen-
though. Yeah,
All right. Well, you win. I don't know. I'm
well,
just
you've
saying-
probably seen a fair few as well.
No, I've seen quite a bit. I haven't
and
seen
they're
all
good.
of them.
He's a
but
good actor.
I've been, a fan of his. So I've always wanted to watch Split for the fact of his acting ability and being able to do 24 different personalities.
But we all know that you're not a big fan of scary movies.
Listen, I won't. It's not that I don't like them. It's just not that I
That you
like
don't
them.
like them.
I'm just right there in the middle.
Vampire West.
I was gonna do it, but I decided not to.
That's an inside joke.
Yeah. But it was its own kind of standalone.
Yeah.
The whole time, everybody thought it was just a new M. Night Shyamalan movie about a thriller guy that,
And in my opinion, it was his return to greatness.
yeah, he had
You
kind
know,
of gone.
He went down a weird path.
Yeah.
But hey,
Well, I think he got
we
in
all go
his
down weird paths for a little while in our
own-
lives.
I think he got in his own head with the twist ending,
Yeah.
and it got
Trying too hard.
artsy, fartsy, weird. You know,
Then he made that movie with Wahlberg.
was it The Fog?
The Happening.
The Happening.
The
There was
Happening.
another one that was The Fog.
Lady in the Water.
Yeah,
I mean,
just-
Lady in the Water was just weird. The Happening was just stupid.
Yeah.
And then he kind of went away for a while. Well, we won't talk about the Avatar, the Last Airbender movie that he made.
Yeah,
because that was.
Don't discuss that.
You remember in Jurassic Park, the movie, when the
Thank
first
you.
one.
Not the actual place, Jurassic Park.
Well,
okay,
no, there's
gotcha.
there's a book for people who read. Sometimes we have to differentiate that. But if you recall in the film, when Dr. Ellie Sattler puts on an elbow-length rubber glove
Yes.
and has to examine Triceratops feces, that was the Last Airbender. Had to go a long way for the bit,
I was like that,
but I'm fully
went
committed.
Full circle on that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was. So I think that's why I didn't like immediately jump to go see Split. You know, it was one that I was like, okay, I'll check it out.
Now, I
some
will
point.
say this, with the exception of The Last Airbender, and I will apologize right now to my friend Zach, who had a small part in the film.
Okay.
I've seen all of his films, M. Night Shyamalan's films, because I can't walk away. Like, I remember the good times, and then even though I've been let down time and time again, I keep coming back for more. So my wife and I went and saw Split on its opening weekend.
Okay.
So we were fans.
Okay.
We are fans, but we have just been so let down.
I was like, it's like a train wreck.
Yeah,
You can't look away.
You can't look away.
I get it.
And so,
Segue.
yeah, so we went and saw Split just because, I mean, The Sixth Sense was a tremendous.
Oh, that was the
It
beginning.
was so much. It was. I'm good at spotting a twist. My wife will tell you that this is one reason that sometimes I can be difficult to watch movies with at home.
I can see that.
So because I can spot a twist a mile away,
Okay.
and sometimes 20 minutes into a movie, I'll be like, nah, that's the killer.
I was
And
gonna
a killing hasn't happened yet
Right.
in the movie, you know. So,
you just know the basic.
but
Right.
The Sixth Sense was the first time where I didn't quite catch it.
I was going to
The
say,
first time I saw
my
it.
wife and I are both pretty good. Probably I'm worse because she's accused me of ruining many movies by doing that same exact thing of just being like, well, he's the bad guy.
Yeah,
And nothing's happened yet. And then he's the bad guy. Or, oh, that's his dad.
yeah.
Like,
You're
whatever.
like, oh, I bet you that dude is that dude's kid.
But then, it's the same with The Sixth Sense. I didn't call it. But have you watched it since again and be like, I don't know
It was.
how
I don't
missed
know
it.
how I missed it. Yeah, the
Right.
second time through, that one does not have a ton of replay value.
Right.
But
Yeah. Anyways,
digressing,
yes.
we went and saw Split on opening weekend and loved it.
Yeah. I watched Split on Sunday.
Fair enough.
But I was very, very impressed with Split. Acting spot on.
Acting was good. The story was good.
I think it's probably I don't remember. It's probably on somewhere as far as how much they've spent making that movie. Is probably compared to how much they
Oh,
earned.
that had to have been a cash cow.
Right. Because it was probably like, we spent $9,000 making this. And we
Well,
made
I mean,
$127 million. Yeah.
You know, I don't know the numbers, but I mean, the question comes, since James McAvoy is credited with all 24 personalities,
Right. Does he get
did he
paid?
get paid per personality, or did he just have one blanket fee?
Well, and I think because I had talked to you before I'd went and watched Glass. I'd seen rented
Yeah.
the first two, watched it, and I was like, I was very impressed with his ability because in it it's DID, the
Dissociative identity
yeah,
disorder.
Thank you. And he's legitimately characteristics of himself, and he does that as an actor, except for when he's the Beast and
Yeah.
get there. But his face changed, and
Yes.
like his,
Like that.
accent. But you could see when it was like, oh, now he's someone else.
Yeah,
and
now he's a different person.
It wasn't like some guy acting as different people. It was
Him.
just these personalities, and it's all leading up to essentially kidnaps 3 girls to feed to the Beast,
Yes.
who's coming,
Yeah,
and-
the horde is what they call everybody that's not the Beast.
Right.
That lives inside the brain of Kevin.
yeah. The guy's actual name is Kevin.
Kevin Wendell Crumb.
Yeah. And the whole thing, even though I knew relatively the ending because I didn't watch it on opening weekend, and I knew that it was a sequel to Unbreakable, and that's kind of like the extra little twist at the end.
Yeah, well, that was,
It was
like
still
my wife and I were sitting in the theater, and that scene at the end of Split came on, and I was just like, "Oh snap!
like Glass.
This just went down." Like
Yeah, because it was an unknown sequel.
I fangirled real hard, real hard at that moment.
But it was an unknown sequel. It wasn't
I've been
promoted.
waiting for Glass since the day I went and saw Split.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, I've been greatly anticipating it.
Yeah, but it was one of those genius things that he put out this movie, his thriller, whatever, unbeknownst to anyone. And it wasn't promoted as a sequel to Unbreakable. It was just that extra. And even though I knew that it was and that scene was there, it was still a big moment. You're like, oh my gosh, that's insane. Crazy stuff's coming. But I think the big I was talking with you about it is because he kidnaps these 3 girls, and you're like, just throw. I'm like, these girls are going to make it out. Everybody's going to survive, and it's just going to go on to the next one.
There's going to be a happy ending, and then you remembered it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and those don't have to have.
Oh,
happy
I got hit across the face with the M. Night Shyamalan 2x4
Yeah.
because I was like, oh,
endings. Ooh,
oh,
the Beast ate them.
the
The Horde fed those girls to the Beast.
and
They weren't kidding about that.
Yeah, it was one of those. Okay, all right.
I'm okay
And
with referring to him as they, because
it is
he did
they.
it. He did it that well.
And which leads to Glass, which is 3 months after. That's what I caught they were talking about. It had been 3 months
Yeah,
since Split.
happened.
The ending and the one girl that did survive because the Beast devours pure people that don't know
Yes.
pain. And the Beast is there, and the other personalities have come to protect Kevin. He had a very damaged childhood, and these other personalities took over to protect him.
Yeah, to protect the psyche of the actual
Person.
Kevin.
And the Beast is the collective, the
Yeah,
24th that they, believe in, and they,
he is their deity.
Yeah.
in all respects.
which I think in this one you discover he is, what is it, like they called him an angel of some kind, like
Yeah,
whatever, I can't remember. But dang, when he shows up, it happens, and that's the only part.
well,
you
I mean,
can-
and it was so impressive in Split when the Beast finally showed up.
which is at the very tail end.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
just moments. The whole movie led up to that, and then I will say this: it was just as like the hairs on your arms stand. You kind of get a little goosebump action going every time. For me, I spent the entirety, all 2 hours and 9 minutes of Glass, in a mild state of anxiety about what was going to happen next.
Oh yeah, I
I
told
mean,
you.
a lot of it is I know that it's Shyamalan and it's going to be a thing, and I'm waiting for that other shoe to drop, and I'm trying to figure out, because my stupid brain won't let me just sit down and enjoy a freaking movie. Sometimes I'm just like, okay,
Gotta figure it out.
I gotta crack the code before the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was just anxious for the people around. There's this psychologist in the room with them, and I'm going, I wouldn't be there.
No, I'd be
Like,
behind some glass.
Yeah.
That was not meant to
Was
be
that-
a pun, but no, it wasn't meant.
Not pun not
but
intended
yeah,
for
not
once.
intended, so
Wow.
there you go. But yeah, this
Pun is always intended with you.
I know, right? But this one takes place 3 months after, and he had kidnapped 4 girls. The Horde had kidnapped 4 more girls. It was going to happen again, but then you're reintroduced to David Dunn, who's Bruce Willis's character, who is out looking for the Horde since all this stuff had happened, and you kind of see where he's at 19 years later.
And they did everything about it was the attention to. I think the most impressive thing about this movie was the attention to detail.
Oh yeah, I can't disagree because it's.
I mean, they even
legitimately
used the same
where he-
actor for David's son.
Oh yeah, with the
To-
little kid.
Yeah, he was a little kid who, let's be honest, has not made a lot of movies since.
I've
He's
seen
been
him
in a few
quite-
things. He's been in a thing or two, but
Yeah, I've seen him in quite
relation.
a few things.
He
But-
hasn't done a lot of stuff.
No, I was like, he
he's
was in
not-
Gladiator.
Kind of, I mean,
Well, you can't. He was in it.
well, again,
You say
he was kind of in it. He was
Okay.
in it slightly more than my friend Zach was in The Last Airbender. And my friend Zach was only kind of in The Last Airbender.
but he was still in it more than you were in it.
100%.
Okay,
He
then.
was also more
Move
in,
along.
in one of the Batman movies than I was as well.
Well, I'm saying, but yeah. And they did some cool. There was one part where they used some, I think, deleted footage from Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my god, that kid looks just like him. It
was
was him. But you kind of see where David Dunn's been over the last 19 years, and that he's been out crime fighting.
He's
You
been, it's, I love that it's a quote unquote comic book movie
Right. And you're
that's
reminded
not
of it
attached to any actual
Comic
comic books,
Right.
but it's also attached
to every
to
comic.
every comic book.
Yes.
So it sheds that, we've talked about this before, that kind of attitude that a lot of people get about a comic book movie. Well, it's not like the books were. Well, it's because it's a movie,
Right.
okay?
And if it was exactly like the book, then you would be bored to tears.
Because you already read the book.
So
You know how I know that? Because you're nerding out about how it's not like the book.
sit back and enjoy it. Stop
Yeah.
trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah. Do what I don't. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Be a better person than me. Come on.
You're reintroduced to all the characters as Bruce Willis's character saves girls, but is introduced to the Horde. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
spoiling anything. It's just kind of
No, it's we're talking
in
the
the
first
trailer.
10 minutes of the movie, and it's in the trailer.
yeah. Saves them, but is introduced to the Horde and fights the Beast, and then they
Yeah, he
all captured.
first showdown with the Beast. I was surprised that it came so quickly.
Oh yeah, it was real quick, and then they are all brought to the same psychiatric hospital as Mr. Glass,
Yeah,
and
dun dun dun.
it is all of them being together, and then it is Mr. Glass's involvement.
Is relatively minimal for the first 2.5 acts.
But at the same time, because it's Mr. Glass, like he's involved, you know,
But he isn't.
right,
Don't go too deep.
right.
That's a
That's
rabbit
what
hole
I'm
we're not
strong-
going to go down
Right,
today.
exactly. And just really cool the way that it ends up, tying everything together, and I think
Yeah.
all three of the main characters, they all get their chance to kind of shine.
Yeah, they all have. I mean, at the end of this day, the movie was well made.
Right.
It stuck so closely into the storylines that came before it. And for, M. Night Shyamalan had said originally, he didn't know that he was making Split into a sequel
Right.
of Unbreakable.
He just decided
Until he was about 3/4 of the way through writing it. None of the cast, with one exception,
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, knew that this movie was a sequel because he kept it that tight under wraps.
Right. And I think was just a brilliant move, and then just
Yeah.
released it as its own thing, and then just went, here's an extra little surprise for you.
Hey, guess what? Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've heard
which
that
is his
he's
thing.
not planning on extending the franchise because that's not his vibe. But who knows?
I think-
I kind of hope he can come up with something, but I respect the heck out of him if he doesn't.
Right, because it's a good finale, but it's
Yeah.
also open
It could easily
to,
be over, and that's great.
And I think that was my only. It's going to sound bad, but it's good and bad thing that it wasn't. There was a twist. Probably a couple, but it wasn't anything in relation to the other ones
Yeah.
that I was like, what? Like, there wasn't that kind of twist ending to it. It was just kind of like, okay, like I'm.
Listen,
satisfied
I will
with it.
tell you, and I'll fully admit, as somebody who professes to be able to find a twist early, I caught the twist maybe 10 to 15 seconds before I could hear other people in the audience go,
Yeah.
I maybe 10 to 15 seconds I go,
Wait a minute. Yeah. I had started
something's afoot.
piecing things together and going, well, okay. So by the time the twist happened, I was like, okay. Like, I wasn't mad
Like,
at it.
I'm
I'm not mad at it. Right.
Thank you for showing up finally.
Right. Because there was, and, fair warning to anybody, they're not fast-paced movies.
No, they're
not seeing
very
Infinity War.
psychological.
This isn't Infinity War.
No, this is not action packed. This is very psychological, and it gets into your head a little bit.
Yeah. And it's not a bad thing. You just need to know that it's a little bit slower, paced, and so by the time
Be prepared to have to think about the movie, and it does not rely on action one little bit.
right, but it's not like, a time travel movie where you have to like keep track.
No,
It's
no.
just kind of like, okay, you pay attention to little things and how people are acting and
Yeah.
what
I will say
characters
this: there was one person in the theater when I watched the movie who did not both silence and darken their electronic device, and I was mad at them. Like, had I been able to tell who it was, I probably would have confronted them openly and hostily. I never saw the light from their phone. That's how I couldn't tell who it was, but their phone kept making noise several times, and it was at the worst time. It wasn't you. It was not you.
I said we did not go together to go see this movie. So
I took my wife to go see this one as well because we enjoyed.
it's your thing, yeah,
Well, we enjoyed Split together,
right.
and I know again. I'm not meaning to pick on.
I was saying I was
I
wondering
really
where this
don't.
is
Listen,
going. All right,
scary movies are a thing for some people, and they're not a thing for others. And I enjoy a really good thriller / horror movie. If it crosses that line a little bit, I'm okay
right.
with it crossing that line. And I know that that's not exactly your cup of tea, and it's specifically and more intensely not your wife's cup of tea.
I was gonna say, and it's not so much my thing that it's like I'm not dying to go see some new thriller, movie. That it's not like number one, but it's not my least.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, if it looks entertaining, because sometimes people go, "Oh my gosh, the scariest movie I've ever seen. You got to check out this movie," and it's Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, I know you've had bad experiences,
But
but
I'm
and again, I know that scary movies aren't for everybody.
Right. I was like, I won't get that time back of my life.
Yeah,
I just
well,
won't.
That movie was so bad. It
Right.
was the worst of the worst of the worst.
But it's one of those things of like, I'm not running out to go see any kind of slasher thriller. That's just not my. I'm like, my wife. That's really not. She
Yeah.
she would, if she was here, she would say, no, I hate.
Yeah,
I
she
hate
wouldn't.
those kind of movies.
She didn't watch Split? I'm assuming.
No.
I
She-
think we had
she-
that conversation. I was just confirming it.
She was, she likes James McAvoy. You know,
So
as
good.
an actor. You know, because he's a really good actor and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so I think she's intrigued by that part, but she has no desire to watch girls getting kidnapped and thriller and
Yeah.
like to be scared. Like good.
How does she feel
she's-
about Michael Jackson's Thriller?
I was trying to think of some kind of pun, and it's too late. I don't know. I guess she's a fan of Michael Jackson's Thriller. She's married to me, and I repeatedly, randomly play that song. But anyway,
Do you bust out in the dance every now and again?
have we met?
I've never seen it, so and we spend an inordinate amount of time together.
Stand by to stand by. Anyways, yeah, this movie, other than the kind of the twist thing, you know, at the end that I wasn't hugely. Listen, it's not the fog that people are scared of,
No,
and or the wind, whatever it was. You know, it was more of a twist than maybe past movies and stuff, but it wasn't something of me going, "Oh my gosh,
no, it wasn't as
I need to call the beard right now and discuss this."
It wasn't as conspiratorially minded as
Past.
The Happening,
Right.
where
Using that as a reference, I'm just saying, like,
where nature turned against us and made us kill ourselves.
right. But it's one of those things, that, you know. So it
I
was
like that
more-
movie better the second time I saw it when it was called Bird Box.
I still haven't watched Bird Box, man. I like that movie when it was called A Quiet Place.
Okay, those were actual monsters.
Again, haven't watched Bird Box.
Fair enough.
Right. But you know, I
Throw a
very much
laughing
enjoyed-
emoji on this video on Facebook if you want us to review Bird Box. I mean, we're
gonna-
like 6 weeks late to the party, but
I was gonna,
you know,
you're
we'll
gonna
do it.
make me sit down and watch Bird Box.
It's worth a watch.
But no, this is really good movie of tying everything kind of together, ending it if he decides to. If he decides to,
It could end. It could easily be the end of it, but it could easily be he could launch at least one more.
he could launch
If not, he could launch an entire franchise
Yeah.
if he chose to.
a whole universe if he wanted to.
But he has said that that's really not his game plan.
Right. I don't know if it was originally his game plan, except for, hey, you know what would be a cool idea? Throw this in Split.
Yeah.
And then people lost their minds.
Yeah. We'll see how he feels after he gets the paycheck for this one.
Right.
Yeah, after he sees the box office numbers. Where did we land now that we're fully through
All
opening
three.
weekend?
Yeah. I don't know. But I mean, I was very, very impressed by this. And again, going back to James McAvoy, when he is the different personalities, I'm like, oh, this lady showed up. And it's
Yeah.
or the 9-year-old kid, and in this one, I think you see more personalities than in Split. You don't see all 24 in Split. You see a good.
Well, yeah, and you don't see them all, but they kind of cycle through. So the budget on this one was $20 million,
Okay.
which is kind of low in today's world.
Right.
And worldwide, we're at 164 million
It's a good
as of today.
So
I mean,
pretty
it's
good
a
choice.
it made some money.
Yeah, made a little
You know,
bit.
who produced this? I can't. Was it Universal?
I think it was. I think there.
I
might
think I
have been one
remember
or two.
seeing the Universal.
logo.
So I mean, Universal definitely made their money back on it, and then
and
some.
I was like, and then a
Everybody
lot more.
should be happy as far as the finances are concerned. It doesn't give me I'm just seeing the production budget. Obviously, there's a marketing budget that goes along with that as well. So,
right.
Anyway,
Yeah. But I mean, I
at
think
the end of the
that-
day, this movie was well worth seeing. Worth seeing, not just worth seeing, but worth seeing in a theater. Sometimes the more psychological movies, I'll give,
Right.
wait for it to hit the red box, watch it at home, because they don't need the spectacle that the true big screen provides.
Right.
But this one, I'm going to say it's worth being in that isolated environment unless you have one douchebag who doesn't turn the ringer off on their device.
Right.
But in that isolated
your money
environment,
back. No.
and just all the big sound, the big screen, well worth it.
Oh, it's very much worth going and seeing in the movie theater if. This is my disclaimer on it. If you've seen the other two
If you've
movies,
seen the first two. If you haven't seen the first two, see them first.
right. If you walk into this not knowing what you're going to be
You're going to
very
be very confused.
Very confused.
There's almost no reason whatsoever.
very unhappy. Or if you watched the first two and didn't like them, you're not
Well,
going to
also,
like this
yeah,
movie.
this one will not
I'm just trying to
tickle your fancy,
but-
as they say.
And it was very much worth going and say, and you make a good point as far as the sounds, because there's the sounds that people make,
There's
and
a
that
lot of sound. It's big. It's
or
big,
people
but
slamming
it's
up against stuff, or
Yeah.
it's where it kind of makes you jump a little bit. Or me, I jumped to the row in front. No,
I'm sorry that we didn't go see it together so that I could protect you from
It's
the
okay. I
from
was
the
able
bad
to-
big bad sounds.
no, I was able to protect myself. Thank you.
Well, good.
My other personalities were able to protect.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
So I think it's a resounding go see it from Tucker and the Beard.
Go see it if you've seen the other ones. And
yeah,
you liked
unless you
them,
haven't seen 'em.
Go see it.
Well, yeah, and if you didn't like the first two, then by all means, go literally take a hike. And I really
Yeah.
think that's all there is to be said about it.
Yeah.
It was
Go
fun.
see it. And it was, well, I think I told you at the end, and then kind of finishing up, and that was the point I wanted to make. At the end, I told you I was like, I'm exhausted
Yeah.
and I'm motivated.
Yeah.
Like, it ended as like a motivational movie, not like
Just like-
Rocky style, but it was just like, you know what? Believe in yourself, man.
yeah.
Don't let anybody tell you you're something you're not.
Absolutely.
Believe in yourself.
No, that was a solid. It was that underlying message to going.
Yeah.
You do you, boo boo,
Yeah. It's like, you know what? Don't let someone sit there and tell you that you're not special.
because you are.
You're special. You know,
You're special.
you're special.
You're special.
And that's why I was like, you know what? I'm kind of feeling really
Yeah.
motivated, not let anybody tell me I'm less than.
Absolutely.
But there's that. And I talked to somebody else, a fan/friend, that was like, he liked Split more than Glass, but he's like, he's more into the scary movies than comic book movies.
Fair enough.
I said,
can see that.
This one's a little more of a comic book movie than
It brings those two worlds together.
Right.
Unbreakable was a superhero comic book movie.
Right.
Split wasn't.
right.
And I thought it did a fantastic job of blending those two things together.
Exactly. So, anyways, go see it.
Yeah. And if you're not watching this on Facebook Live right now, talking to you people, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Now I'm talking to you people on YouTube.
Go like our
Please
page.
do us a favor. First of all, go back to Facebook, like our page so you can watch us live if you want to. We do interactions. We'll do Q&As from time to time as well.
You name it.
But if you're on YouTube, thank you.
Yes.
And do us a favor, subscribe, and then hit that bell so you can get notifications.
And then everyone on
That
live
way- that way
hasn't
you're-
done that, go do that.
Yeah. So now back to the Facebook people. If you're on Facebook, scroll down just a little bit on our page and you will see a link to our YouTube page. Go there and do the same thing I told the YouTube people to do, which is subscribe and ring the bell for notifications.
Then you can be those people that we're talking to
yeah.
instead of those people.
Hey, you can be both if you want to, because all of our content is going to be on both sets. It really makes it so that if you do want to see our content, YouTube's just better about telling you when it shows up.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
So we appreciate the support and continued support. So
Yeah.
please go.
We love doing this. We hope you guys love watching it. And yeah, that's about it. Until next time, he's Tucker.
His beard.
We're out.